we're only going to get 2 of us in frame.
Okay. That's okay.
And you can't even see Micah, so...
He's so discreet.
I am the shadow.
Well, go ahead and intro us.
Let's wait until I get out of the parking lot.
Break it. Dude, it's like... Nice. There's a car behind us. It's like a rearview mirror.
Yeah, kind of.
Dude, that movie kind of made me want to, like, go out and go speeding.
I want to...
Like, back when I was in high school and I just speed all the time.
I want to become vengeance.
Just
Alright, I think...
walk in the middle of the rain. You know, it was raining pretty hard the last few days. That would have been your good chance.
To let me pretend to be Batman.
Yeah.
And then there was the
Batman
point where, like,
ring.
Batman gets shot, and we were like, whoa, whoa, whoa!
Yeah.
He got shot multiple times.
Or no, not got shot. He, like, pretty much shot someone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he didn't, because the
he
other
didn't-
guy had the gun, but he kind of like
He
aimed at him.
kind of like shot him in the leg.
But,
or
like, it was
something.
so dark that it's like, was that a non-lethal shot? I don't know about that one.
And then he was hanging from like his, like whatever it was, like a strip, like his rope or that was attached.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lights are light.
Right of way!
Well, should we intro?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another Apathetic podcast. I'm your host, Mike Reeves, with my co-host, Carlos D'Alvarado. We have a special guest today, Kyler King.
Shaka brah.
They were, well, we just watched the Batman, that's why it's
Mm-hmm.
dark out.
Yeah.
We watched it in theaters. And now,
Micah, you can try and hit the light above your head.
Nah, I like being in darkness. So
After watching this movie,
the
he likes
the food that we're going to get today is Jimmy John's. I don't know how nationwide Jimmy John's is, but I know it's like Pacific Northwest-ish.
It started in Illinois, I believe.
Maybe it's farther spread than I thought.
Oh,
Anyway,
dude, there's one car in the line, and it's at the pickup window.
nice.
Let's go!
it's a three-way stop.
That kind of confused me for a second. I've actually never been through this area.
To Jimmy John's!
Okay, Carlos, was this new Batman movie better than Arnold's Batman?
Oh,
Yeah.
we're at the drive.
It's not that hard to make. Any of our movies that we made on YouTube is better than that movie.
Jimmy John's.
Hello?
What can I get?
Can I get a 15 with mayo and the salami and capicola?
Okay. What else?
Take a 14 regular.
114 regular?
I'll get the
Any
same.
cheese on it?
You get the what?
I'll get the same as him.
Make that 2 14 regulars. And
Like
could we
cheese
get
on
a combo with all of those?
Would you like cheese on those?
Yes, please.
Okay, what kind of chips do you want? Those 2 sandwiches? Oh, you want a sandwich combo for all 3 sandwiches?
Combo for all 3, please.
Okay, what kind of chips? Was it 3?
Yeah, I'll take medication.
Yes.
2 barbecue and 1 jalapeno.
And with the drink?
3 Sprites.
Yep.
Is 7
Yeah,
Up
3.
okay?
3 chocolate chip cookies,
7 Up
please.
is not okay. 7 Up is garbage.
Anything else?
That'll be all. Thank you.
40.75 window.
Yeah, so before we went over to watch the movie, like Kyler and I just went over to Micah's new place to help unpack
Yes.
his heavy chair.
Address is redacted.
Yes.
I didn't know
We
the
will not.
addresses.
Yeah.
Seriously, Micah, there's a light behind you. If you
Yeah.
hit it, it might
It's
like.
right up
But it's
there.
fine.
No, because if it's behind you, it might just make you a dark silhouette. Just hit it while we're in the drive-thru.
Yeah, if you like,
it looks
if you
terrible.
like sit a little taller.
Kick it off.
Wait, no.
No, it's terrible.
Try sitting a little taller.
That's got awful.
I don't like that.
The lighting is so bad. Here it's not bad because you can actually kind of see Micah's face.
That is subject to change.
I am the
soon.
mystery man. Out of frame.
Nobody shall see his face.
You should just garble every one of my voice lines in the podcast.
Oh,
Like
so
witness protection.
After we get our sandwiches, we're gonna drive back.
You gotta
to
blur that out.
your new place now.
Yeah, we'll go back to the apartment. I
Yeah.
think Caleb and Legend are probably there.
No, I thought
I
they were
have
going.
no
Oh,
idea.
no, they're going to the
Yeah,
740.
they were.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to watch the Batman
time
2.
is it?
It's 7:05 right now.
Yeah, so the movies. Well, they're watching useless movie trailers right now.
It's not
I want to talk
That's
about the
also
movie,
fun.
but I don't want to. Can we
also
like
not
spoil it? Or?
Yeah, we'll put a spoiler
Yeah, we can put a
spoiler warning on the video.
on the video. Yeah.
Okay.
So if there are any spoilers, then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Where is your clock? Do you even have a clock on there?
It's a
Here.
setting. I don't have it.
Let's see. It is 7:05.
Damn it. Carlos, you like tilted your phone at just the right angle so that street light out there bounced off your phone screen and into my eye.
Oh, I can see it.
Oh.
I can,
Oh yeah.
It's right there. Look at it.
It's in my face.
Look up. Look up. There it is.
Just
Point at the
angle it
camera.
like. No,
Point at the
don't
camera.
don't point it at the camera.
There it is.
Not quite. You've pulled it out of the light of the window. It's got to be like over here.
You'd be bad if we were stranded in a signal plane. It's like in the shade.
Okay. So it's right here, and then maybe lower it down a little bit.
You can see it there.
You can kind of see it.
You're like making the camera focus go all wonky stuff.
Makes Skylar's camera.
No, I never use it. Like ever.
Dude, you get a new controller? Oh, for your Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
that was months ago.
I want to start off with this. There was a baby in our movie theater.
It was terrible.
That-
It was a lot quieter than I was expecting it to be, at the very least.
Yeah.
So loud.
Well, there was
No,
this.
like I was expecting the baby to be like crying a lot more
Like,
than it
for,
was.
like,
It hit
80%
like
of the movie.
two points, and I have to say, if I had a baby cry in any of them, for the most comedic value, those 2 points were the best because it was like the most suspenseful point of the movie and the height of the climax. So it was a
Yeah,
And
there's
it
like.
started crying during the height of the climax, but during the most suspenseful part, it was just like ah. It was just some
like
random
the
noise.
scene was like intense music building up, Riddler's revealing his plan
There's,
and
like,
everything.
the bass.
And then it cuts, and then all you hear is from the
Dude,
We were watching the.
you guys were so mad, and I was laughing my ass off in the
I
seat
wasn't.
next to
I wasn't that mad at it. It was just kind of like.
It was just me.
you. You were both like,
Of
ah!
course, there's a baby in the movie.
Yeah, I just obviously.
And also,
any
the-
parent who brings a baby
I don't
into
know
a
if
movie
you guys
theater,
noticed it as much, but the speakers
One of
on the
the
right
speakers-
side
one
of
the speakers was
the
going out.
it was so crackly.
I didn't notice
It was. I heard it during the
Who's
car
buying? Am I buying?
Oh, when he's like,
$40.75.
I'll pay it back.
Fancy. Saw that much.
Yeah. Bifo. This wallet's very nice. It's made of titanium.
Made of titanium.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the
You're
money
gonna make an
clip.
entire suit out of it and
Here you go.
test.
Mike, why do you have to reference my watch? I forgot it. I can't show it off. There's nothing here.
Chips in your sandwiches. Bring your drinks.
Carlos!
I will hold these sandwiches.
Micah, once again, you'll have to blur my face here.
Oh, I hit the blur. Yeah, you just.
Oh.
Witness protection program.
Hold.
I can hold mine.
What is this? Oh, okay.
Christmas straws.
Thank you.
Do you have a couple of these back here?
I think you're sitting in front of them. Oh no, there are a couple. There's.
Oh,
Yeah,
let me pick up
No,
the
I
strap.
don't think you did.
I don't. They're in the door. There are cup holders in the doors.
You already have some.
Just throw it down on the floor. It's fine.
Explode.
What do you got going on here, Carlos?
I dropped a couple of
No!
Wait, there's one more. Come on.
Do you have our food?
What?
Did we get everything?
Yeah.
Why don't we drive?
Because Carlos is
I
messing
got
with my...
the straws. I got them.
We have a...
I got.
Yeah, but I gotta be there for the gear shifter.
Okay.
Alright, how do I get to the apartment from here?
Go on bypass.
Let's
Take right. Stop. Take another right. Right there.
Oh God.
Take another right.
You know, I was texting my mom like right before the movie started, just telling her about the
Now
baby
you're like
in the theater.
framed in very intense lighting from the brake lights in front of us.
And what? And I told her that some parents just suck, because I mean, let's be honest. If it's very inconsiderate for the parent to like for the baby and the audience.
I'm stupid.
When the parent just.
I'm so
brings the
stupid.
baby in.
Did she think you were talking about her when you said some parents are stupid?
No, she told me that when I ever have kids,
you have to
she'll
get all the way over the
babysit.
other lane and take a left.
Yeah. She said that she'll babysit my future kids whenever I want to go see a movie.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I just had a minor panic attack because I didn't know where my phone was.
It's
Okay.
recording.
Yeah. It's the camera.
Hopefully the microphone's good on it.
I was gonna say, like, we should pause it and check.
the
but then
microphone. I like the lighting here on Micah
The
too.
lighting's
That looks
it's
kind.
like-
That looks very
It's kinda
discreet.
bad, but it's good.
Micah,
It's bad
shift
for me.
slightly that way.
Right.
There we go.
Get in the left lane.
Oh.
I don't think that helped at all.
Well, because now he's in front of the headlight, so it's not flaring out the camera.
I wanted to flare out the camera.
I like lens flares. They're
Lens flares
nice.
are cool.
All right, J.J. Abrams.
Oh.
He made some good Trek movies.
Who? Huh?
J.J. Abrams.
No.
Yeah.
Star Wars sucked.
Yeah. No. I don't want to see him.
The first one was okay.
The second one tanked.
Well, because he didn't direct that one.
And then
there
the
was a
third
new
one-
director who was like,
Ryan Johnson.
everything that J.J. Abrams did sucks, so we're gonna undo that.
Not everything he did sucks. It's just okay.
Yeah, but that was like they retconned a bunch of the stuff that JJ had set up. So when JJ got control of the third one, he was like, "We're gonna reinstate it." And
I mean, it's
They
very
didn't use the
clear.
Knights of Ren.
It's very
So
clear.
bad.
Yeah, the Knights of Ren could have been so cool. It could have been like, you know how like cool all the Mandalorians are. That could have been the same
The Knights
thing,
of
but for
Ren.
the dark side users.
And then they were just like, movie number 8.
I mean, the Mandalorians aren't like one side or the other. They're just kind of an aggressive, neutral third party.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of just want to be by themselves. Because,
Yeah, they don't.
you know which
They're
kind
more
to
of
make
an-
on this road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, there's the sign. Hopefully no one sees it in the background.
No, it'll be fine.
Like they can't see anything out of this camera. It's flared out.
Don't worry about it.
It'll look fine. So what was? Let's talk about the scene that kind of like made all of us like laugh in the movie.
The double barrel shotgun.
Okay, two scenes. So
Okay.
spoiler alert, kind of. So the first
spoiler
scene-
alert's gonna be on the video.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so the first scene, Batman like punches Gordon just to make himself more discreet, and then he like grapple hooks all the way to the top of the police station, activates a wingsuit.
Oh yes, now I know.
And then he starts flying down, and he sees an opportunity to land on this bus. But the bus was going right under a bridge, so when he activated his parachute,
This guy is really.
the
close.
parachute caught the top of the bridge, and then as he's flying,
No, he
just
didn't.
goes-
He went up and caught the top of the
No,
bridge
it
with
was-
his face.
No, it was the parachute that caught it, and then he did like a little backflip, and then his face smashed into the.
Yeah, and then he
The other
smashed
side
into
of
the
the
road.
Seriously, why is this guy so close to us?
It's probably legend. And go faster. Unless it's a police officer and he's like baiting you. I don't know.
Baiting me through a parking lot? No,
Yeah.
You can't park there, reserved parking.
I know, I'm going
Only
over
for me,
here.
Wolf, and Legend of Caleb. Hey,
Yeah, how is that gonna work, by
Caleb's
the way?
on. Yay. I don't know how it's gonna work.
They might be leaving like very, very soon.
I think that we are gonna have to like schedule it or maybe share it. A little bit.
Should I pause the video while we get up to the...
No, you just.
No, we'll bring it with
You
us.
put-
That's
okay,
part
what
of the
you do-
experience.
No, we pause, not
No,
stop.
no.
Pause.
You put the cup on top to where so the camera sees just the logo of where you're.
No.
Yes.
Did you see?
No, don't
You
pause
see
it,
the Dairy
don't pause
Queen one? Like, you see the way like you
I
have.
didn't actually watch all of the Dairy
Oh,
Queen
you.
one,
Oh.
to be honest.
That was our
Just-
best
all you-
one.
Just put the.
Maybe the McDonald's one was pretty funny
I
because
think
I
the
deep fried the
McDonald's
mic
one was
multiple
Just put the
times.
cup like phone screen and then cup like right in the center.
Yeah.
That's gonna be way too much work.
I'll take.
Great, now I gotta make 2 video files.
I'll stitch it together before you get it. I have that editing software on my phone.
I mean, yeah, I do too.
Oh, this would have been an opportunity to check the first video file.
We can do it later.
You want to do a whole podcast and then check and find out like, oh, the microphone's trash.
What's the fun of it? What about all these? Oh, these must be storage units for people that live here.
Maybe. They might be like garages.
I rent out one of them and put the Triumph in it.
Dude.
Take the Triumph out.
Get an engine crane.
I haven't.
I've just got the camera pointing straight up.
That's how it's supposed to be. To make everything discreet.
There's your Jimmy John's logo cup.
See, it's cool. Right?
It's terrible.
It looks good.
It looks terrible.
It's like in the movie, whenever the camera's actually attached to one of the vehicles or something.
Yeah, but this isn't a vehicle. This is a Jimmy John's cup. What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'll move.
I got a desk I gotta move to.
I was. Yeah.
All right.
We are rolling. All right, so with the Jimmy John's, with our chips. Is that one yours?
Maybe. Mine's just gonna be the one that's different.
Oh.
Oh yeah, no, you have to get the cookies when you go to Jimmy John's. The cookies are so good.
They're really good cookies.
They're made with Ghirardelli chocolate.
Which is very nice.
Yes, this one is mine. So,
So
the other two are yours and Micah's.
First,
They're the same.
They're the same.
Should we like have the bag front and center between us?
yeah.
I never took the wrap off this.
Yeah. Well, I figure whenever we're ready, we'll cut it and start.
We need to start talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, while you're setting up. Alright, so Michael, what is the one we got again?
Oh, it was
13?
Italian something.
So we got some tomatoes.
The Italian club?
We got some
Italian
cheese.
I think it was the Italian club.
A couple types of meats. A little bit of lettuce.
It has like
in
beef
there.
and salami, I think.
Yeah, I see the salami.
I think it's got turkey in there too.
Yeah, it's got turkey right here.
You wanna like open it up?
Well, you want me to close it and reopen it?
No, I mean like bring it up to the camera and open the sandwich.
Yeah.
That's a bit close. You're only getting the wrapper.
There we go. You want to do that with yours?
No, this one's too. Oh, I forgot to ask for no tomato.
I don't like tomatoes that much either. Actually,
I'm fine with tomatoes. I just don't like them on my sandwich.
I like tomatoes.
I tried a tomato today, just by like one of those little
Cherry
ones.
tomatoes?
Yeah.
Did you try it by
at-
itself?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to eat a tomato by itself. It's not good when it's on something.
Yeah, I realized that.
Mike, whenever you're ready, just unbury that chair and roll it over, and I'll give you your sandwich and your cookie.
Ah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Jimmy John's makes the best sandwiches.
Yes.
But they don't have hot sandwiches. If you want a hot sandwich, you have to go to Firehouse.
Hot sandwiches are.
They're pretty good.
But
Unless you get it from Subway, and somehow
think
it's
about
terrible.
it. Jimmy John's is like really good. I mean, for the cold sandwiches, because if you like gotta work and you know,
Well,
you wanna store
their
it for
thing
lunch.
is that it's fast and it's fresh. So. That's the Jimmy John's way.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lean back too far. You're
I
out front.
can't.
You could like turn the chair and face the camera more, and then you'd be.
There's a bunch of crap around here. I can just.
Well, that stuff's out of frame.
Oh, I'm just trying to make space for me. I thought it was back there.
You know, Micah, if you got some like Velcro or something, you like get a piece of soundproofing foam. Put it over the skylight.
Oh.
Something you could take down and put up pretty easy.
We can't even reach up there.
Get a stick.
There actually is a little stick down there.
I have an interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Sprite.
Is mine still? Yeah, it's right there.
This is a very entertaining podcast.
Yeah.
Carlos
we
and I are
just-
eating and
We just got
working on
it. Nah, we just gotta get back to talking about. Let's talk about the movie. So, you just. Yeah, Batman. While he's working on his stuff.
Do we want to just start from the beginning? Because I don't really remember what we talked about in the car.
Yeah, so, the movie just. It opened up in a way I didn't expect. Like, I thought the movie was
Because it didn't retrace Will Brown.
What the heck?
Oh,
Oh no!
Very slowly. So, I've got it.
I'll put this on a ledge.
I can't wait to watch this podcast.
We're gonna have to
Just to
trim
see
this
the
down.
both of us looking at this camera, talking about
And
the
then like
movie.
flip around. Whoa! What's going on over here?
But no, like I thought the movie was gonna open with that scene where Batman's
Hey,
beating on those thugs, which was an awesome scene. But it opens with Riddler like spying on people, and you could tell it's him by the way he breathes. Like he's like, like all the way through that.
One thing that confused me about those binoculars is that it had like an angle readout,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't attached to anything.
It didn't do
It
anything.
made no sense.
They just did it to make it look tactical or whatever.
It was so bad.
The first time I actually like kind of laughed was actually in that beginning scene because you just see him standing there, right? And then once he's ready to make his move, he runs, screams at him, and then just hits him.
That was a really cool shot, though.
Yeah,
How
when
he
they first
appeared with
revealed him with
Mhm.
the
the background. That looked pretty cool.
Because at first glance, you don't even notice that he's there. Because he's like framed so that he's behind the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the mayor? Yeah, it was the mayor.
Yeah, the
guy
mayor.
running for mayor.
No, he was the mayor.
Was he?
He was running
He was going for re-election.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happened. Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. And then after that, he like, I liked how he like finds the kid in the house, and so you can just see.
I want to talk about how they introduced Batman though.
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
they didn't show him until way after his narration and a bunch of scenes played out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see a bunch of various crimes
Yeah,
being
like
committed throughout the city, and then it talks about the symbolism of the bat signal, and you get to see all these crooks react to seeing it, and it was really cool and really well done.
It was so cool how all the thugs would just look into a dark room and just assume
They would just
that he was there
like,
and run
assume
away.
that he was there.
But then the one time he was there, like, I think this is the first time you ever notice how
Do we want to talk about the redesign of the suit?
Yeah, yeah. We
They
can
kind
talk
of
about-
stripped away a lot of like the modern Batman, like this big hulking tech suit. It was just like some body armor. The utility belt didn't even really come to play that much.
Yeah, it was there. It just didn't pop as much because usually they like to make it like yellowish.
It was
color.
there, but it was just like a rack that had a couple like pouches on it. It didn't really.
Yeah, like honestly, like the biggest tech that he relied on was his Batmobile and his suit. What kind of armor you call that again?
Ballistic armor?
Plot armor.
Oh yeah, the plot armor.
Yeah.
The armor made no sense.
Yeah, we can like.
It was nice that like they've paid attention to where like because the only part of him that isn't armored is like the lower half of his face. So you can see how whenever someone's taking pot shots at him, he lifts his arm up to cover his face.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make sense with knockback. It does like pay attention to that.
Yeah, like if someone has a 50 caliber like shooting at you and you have your face right here to cover it up, it's still gonna hit you in the face.
You're absolutely gonna clock yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then, like the one alley where he does like walk out, he like
You got your fancy
slowly.
light show hooked up now?
What light show?
His RGB computer.
Can they? Oh, they can kind of see it.
The chair set. All this crap being couples. There's a lot of garbage. There you go, front and center for your own podcast.
Nice.
Your chips are over there. Your sandwich.
Thank you.
Got the
Cookie.
same.
Thank you.
Can't wait to try the fizzy. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, the cookies are so good. Make you a little table here for your sweat.
Thank you.
And mine, because mine's far away.
Where's my drink? Oh, is it right there?
I was gonna say, I don't know. I haven't seen it. What were your reactions to the beginning of Batman, Micah?
Yeah, like the opening scenes and stuff.
It was good. I liked how they made it to where you didn't know who the first character was that they showed. I feel like a lot of movies always show the main character first.
And since you only see like the binoculars and then a dark mask,
You
kind of assume that it's the Batman.
You almost think it's Batman. It's like
Yeah.
always.
Actually, the first thing that I thought was that because it opens with a shot through the binoculars of the kid playing with his parents, and being that we were watching a Batman movie, I assumed that the kid was going to be Batman, and this was like, we're getting attached to the parents before they inevitably kill them again.
Oh, it was like a younger Bruce just playing around. Yeah, I thought it was...
Especially since, like, I think it was kind of intentional.
Yeah.
Because they put the kid in a ninja costume.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like,
And then
kinda
he faked kills his dad for
yeah,
fun.
and while I was sitting there, I was like, "Oh, great!
He's gonna die.
Symbolism."
Didn't you find it kind of funny the way Riddler will like yell right before he goes in for the kill?
Yeah.
He's like, "Arr!" And then
Screw stealth! I have a chisel.
And then, like, once again, we were like talking about the how he narrates like during the beginning, and you don't see him like go in the suit reveal.
You get to feel his presence before you see his face.
Yeah.
Like, you see how he's affected the people of Gotham before you see him assault the people of Gotham. Which I think was really well done. Especially since the overall theme of the movie, or like kind of what they were trying to go for, is how much of an impact he had, and how he, at the beginning, he wasn't sure if he was making an impact.
Exactly.
So it was kind of nice to open up with, like, this is the impact that he's making. Is it the one that he wants?
And then when the movie ends, it kind of showed that for him.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay. And then, so yeah, he fights all those dudes. It's a very cool fight. Yeah, it was like in a subway station, and that was a pretty cool opening fight. Because at first they look at him and they're like, what's this guy doing here? Like, they're clowning on him.
It kind of annoyed me a little bit, because they had just done all these shots to establish, like, every crook in the city knows that, like, if they see that symbol, the Batman is about. And I guess they didn't see it, but wouldn't you assume, like, Batman doesn't take a day off when they don't light the signal?
The guy...
And when he steps out, you would think they would have heard of him. Like, they acted like they didn't know.
They asked him.
After they framed all these shots of,
And
like,
he was,
everyone
and
knows
he was
who this
Batman
guy
for
is.
like a couple of years when the movie started too.
It was his second year as Batman.
Yeah.
You were saying something like that?
The kid that was with the gang, I guess.
Yeah.
He saw it and he, like, knew, but the other ones didn't.
He was like the one thug that didn't get the crap beaten out of him.
Well, because they were kind of, like, trying to show that he still has humanity, which is why they framed the kid that way. It was very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
But it still kind of irked me that they just went through all of this wonderfully done cinematography to showcase how much his presence is felt by the crime in Gotham. And then they just completely disregard that he's there. Like, I'm gonna stick him with a machete. Oh no, my brace.
Yep.
I do like how in other Batman movies, whenever he takes on guys that have like guns or any kind of like weapon, like lethal weapons, he always goes with a stealthy approach. Like he'll use a lot of smoke bombs. He'll throw.
There was not much of that in this movie.
No, not at all, and that didn't really bother me because it kind of showed his character how, like, he was intentionally being reckless because you know he had a "I don't care if I die"
He didn't
type
take
of
much care about
mentality.
himself.
And then, like, he kind of, over the course of the movie, it seemed like he was finally starting to learn maybe that's not the way to approach things. So then after that first fight,
The second important character that we meet right after that is Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred.
Who, one, I'm fairly certain that the actor that plays him is an Aussie, not a Brit. Because you can kind of hear the difference in how they say some words, so that was kind of distracting for me.
Yeah.
But also, his character really only existed to move the plot along.
He didn't really do anything.
He didn't do anything unless it was, here's the answer to this puzzle you were working on. But he would, like, always get it just close enough so that Batman could be like, the real answer is there. He kind of, like... He only seemed to be there to make Batman...
He definitely fit, like, the mentor spot of...
Did he? He didn't really mentor him.
Well, he was... I feel like that's what he was supposed to be.
He didn't, like, start fully guiding him until he was in the hospital.
Even
and, like,
then, he was really
explaining
only used
his...
as an exposition dump.
I do hope that he gets like more involved later on.
I do hope that if they make a second movie, they flush out his character more. But it really felt like he was only there to move the plot along when Batman needed a push.
I did like that the first scene with him where where like Bruce says, you know, you're not my father, and then you can see that kind of like bothers. Yeah, that hurt him.
And later on, they talk about that.
Mm-hmm. I also.
But even then, they just kind of moved past it. And that's the last time you see him in the whole movie.
It's like, Alfred, you didn't tell me this, this, and this. And he's like,
he wasn't telling you the whole truth, and then we never see him again.
Yeah.
He really kind of feels like an afterthought.
Notice how, like, in this movie, they actually, like... I don't think Batman, like, actually kills in this movie.
Except that
Well...
one guy near the end.
I don't
it doesn't
know.
really count because the other guy had the gun.
Yeah, so...
He just kind of, like, hit it away from
himself. He hit it away, and the guy, like, shot and pulled the trigger.
No, because they were wrestling over it.
Yeah, so,
Well,
like, Batman wasn't...
Had it, though.
I mean, come on. Compare that to, like, Zack Snyder. Like...
We don't talk about the sex stuff.
No.
I haven't seen them. I just know they're really bad.
Oh, let's just say he literally mows guys down.
Didn't he like mow down a crowd of people?
Yeah. So he's flying. So the first time he like mows down people is when he's in his Batmobile, and his bullets are so like powerful to where it just shreds the car, starts rolling, and then his Batmobile drives right through it, making it and all the people in it explode.
We'll get to the Batmobile later, but I do have some thoughts about
The one for this one?
Yeah, because, I mean, do we want to skip ahead to that and talk about it?
I was going to talk about the funeral scene next, because that's kind of what happened next.
No, that was the Selena Kyle stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Because we get introduced to Catwoman before the funeral. Because he goes into the club as Batman.
Beats up all those guys, and then you see
he had,
Penguin.
Like, the camera lenses.
Mm-hmm.
He had like contact lenses that were cameras.
So he could record what he saw.
Yeah.
At first I was like, oh, that's cool. It saves it to the lens, and then he puts it on the thing and he views it. Then he gives a pair to Catwoman, and he gets a live feed. Which, I mean, I guess you didn't establish that it needs to be like in a specific player, but
it records it and live streams it.
But it's like a contact lens that you can see through.
We'll get back to this live stream portion of the movie in a second. But yeah, we get introduced to her, and then he kind of just follows her, and then they get back to that original crime scene, have a little fight, and then he sees the passport.
Oh, no, we need to talk about Gordon and his really unsafe computer habits. As he takes some random thumb drive that has an actual thumb attached to it.
Plugs it
into his personal Gotham police laptop, and then it hacks his computer.
And uploads
Oh no!
You gotta like buy. You gotta buy just some random cheap computer, and then plug it in there so it doesn't do anything.
Or at least like disconnect it from the fucking Wi-Fi. Like Jesus, man. Like plugged it into his computer, his own personal computer, hooked up to the Wi-Fi, some random thumb drive that he knows the criminal left.
He could, and even if he didn't like turn off the Wi-Fi, he could have just shut the thing down at the very least. But
no, because he's just like Shoom. What was that? Oh no, I sent all these photos.
Yeah.
And then like the next scene is the news. Also, in our theater, you know, obviously there was the baby that kind of annoyed me at first a little bit, but there was also the crowd of people near the bottom of the seats where they noticed the thumb drive, like the actual
and then they
thumb.
just started laughing.
Yeah. And I'm like,
puns.
I was like, really? Like, I mean, it's a good pun, like, but really,
What was the riddle?
It's
just
part
a
of
drive.
It's part of the riddle and not. Like,
yeah, it's not supposed to be like super funny.
I love how we tried to go in order of like beginning to end, and then we
Nah,
just completely got the
it's-
plot mixed up. Our timeline is so fun.
It'll be fine. If people who watch the movie will understand.
Yeah.
And then,
Which hopefully you watch this movie.
yeah,
before you watch this podcast.
please watch this movie before you watch
Spoilers.
Yes.
it. I want to talk about that funeral scene though, because you kind of get.
Do we need to talk about the DA first?
Oh, the one that.
The guy in the
Selena-
saw trap.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. And if you guys ever watched the movie Saw, that's pretty much what it is.
I never watched the movie, so.
I watched it.
I just know that he puts straps around people's necks. I'm
Yeah.
fairly certain they're explosive.
And then, yeah, wasn't the DA the one that drove the car
Mhm.
like into that funeral?
That's what I said. I think we need to talk about that first.
Yeah, that's where I was going. But I like how during this entire scene, after he has this little conversation with that one reporter, which by the way, all she does when she's like, well, she's not a reporter. She was gonna elect for mayor or whatever.
yes,
she was
the
like,
mayoral candidate.
she basically.
She basically said, "You have money. I want to steal it and use it to fund my programs."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's like, yeah, you're not really doing anything with your money, but maybe I was hoping to change that. Like, after I get elected. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, just trying to make more money off them, I guess.
I feel like we spent a lot of time looking at her character, and yet I know nothing about it.
Not really. She's just more good. Like, she tries. Notice how she tries to do good in the movie, but as we'll discuss a little later, it never works out for her at all.
The whole point of it is like the Riddler's plan was to expose a bunch of corrupt people in the city's structure and
Yeah, like
government.
the politicians
And then,
and
like,
stuff.
she went to go do a speech, and then she gets shot in the shoulder at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
There's like 50 people, like, let's kill her. And only
And then
one
she's
guy
like-
hits her.
And then she's like,
Why?
someone needs to do the right thing, and then walks
and then
out
walks
and
out
gets
and
shot.
immediately gets shot at the
And no one
shoulder.
was. The funny thing is, no one was listening to her. They were all panicking, going, "No."
Yeah, she accomplished absolutely nothing in this movie.
And by the way, wouldn't anyone like get the idea to just look up? Because whenever I go to like
She
big
did, though.
stadium,
She looked up and she was like, "People with guns! Oh no!"
but she
Yeah,
was
that's
the
what you-
one. I mean, it was a like stadium full of people.
Like,
and
no
she
police.
was the only.
It was like an
one.
expo center.
No police looked up. Well, it's supposed to be the. It's like a stadium.
Uh-huh.
Because there's a stadium called the Garden, I think. It's like an
The
NBA,
center garden.
NBA stadium.
But I do like how
He rolled
After
up in
she-
a really ugly looking Tesla to the funeral. I wouldn't have.
Who?
Batman. When he
Oh,
rolled up to
Bruce?
the.
That was a 69 Corvette Stingray.
It had a Tesla logo on the hood.
It was a Corvette Stingray.
It had the Tesla.
No.
was it? It was not an actual Tesla.
No, but it had the Tesla logo on it.
Unless Tesla made a Corvette Stingray knockoff.
It's the movies, man. They can throw whatever badging they want on it.
Yeah, maybe Elon Musk just wanted his logo in the Batman movie. But I was saying, after that little conversation he has, he's able to, like, the actor Robert Pattinson, he's able to act it out so well whenever all the events are happening. Because you
We
hear...
forgot to talk about his mask when he takes it off for the first time.
Mhm.
That looks nothing like the car that he
This
was
is like-
driving.
Yeah,
This is exactly what he was driving.
it looks...
It looks more stretched out than it was.
This is like one of the most iconic cars in history.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure I saw the Tesla badging on the front of it.
So then,
I could be wrong.
like, they kind of evacuate the building. And then they solve some
He
riddles.
shows up as Bruce,
Yeah, he does.
and he like saves a kid from the DA who's soaring through in the car with a bomb around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then a phone rings for like an hour.
Yeah, I know. Like an hour passes by, the phone is still ringing, and everyone's evacuated. And
They evacuated
Bruce-
everyone. Bruce left, changed, and came back, and the phone was still ringing.
and then he answers.
Well, no, because it's. Oh wait, never mind.
Hmm?
I was thinking of a different scene.
Well,
Oh yeah, that's totally a Stingray. So you can see the back of it has a split window, and it's like curved.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I'm
there's.
just saying, there's a Tesla logo on the front.
That's the scene, like the car from the scene. Was there a Tesla logo?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
You sure it just wasn't a Corvette logo?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Well, and then he like. They start answer. They try to answer riddles, but Batman just kind of like gives them all the answers, and then for some reason he chooses to just let himself die, rather than just say like a name, and then because of that, his
Well, because if he said the name, Falcone would have killed his family.
okay, yeah,
That was the explanation that he gave. He was like, "You don't know who these people are. They're gonna kill my family." Then Batman has the bomb blow up right here next to his completely exposed face and gets a bell rung, and that's it.
I
And
mean,
the other guy gets
I
his head
found it kind of
liquefied.
weird that in his open face area, like that didn't get damaged at all. So, plot armor, yeah, most definitely.
The bat suit is so busted.
I can't find it. I don't know what type of logo was on there. Because they don't, the movie just came out. They don't have any scenes out for it, so you can't really watch it.
No,
They just have
YouTube.
pictures.
just pirated.
I just watched
Once,
it. Why would I buy
go
it?
1, 2, 3 movies.
123movies.com. Have you ever gone to 123movies.com?
No.
It's pretty.
I watched Avengers Endgame, the pirated version, on 123movies.com because I didn't want to go to the theaters.
I didn't say I didn't pirate movies. I just said I didn't go to 123. But I have a guy in Uruguay for that.
I just went to 123movies.com and watched, and the guy was like kind of shaky, and then people were coughing, and then like you'd see like someone come down the aisle.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of times when I'm just watching a movie and then Kyler like just he goes up to the side and he's like, "Yeah, that doesn't make sense." And that would
Yeah, because I was like, no.
Yeah, no. The one scene where you were just like, "What the heck is that?" is when
What the hell?
is the hallway scene when it's all dark and the only source of light are the guns.
Oh yeah, and they like consistently hit him in the chest for long sustained fire.
It does.
Like, not even
absolutely.
recoil. Like brought the barrel up like the 5 degrees it takes to hit him in the face.
Especially the machine gun.
Yeah.
I mean, pistols I can understand. You have a
Yeah,
bit
because
more
that's
control.
you recover between every shot. But they were doing like assault rifle sustained fire on his chest.
It was a cool scene.
It was a cool
Yeah.
scene, but the ballistics made no sense.
It was, not realistic.
John Wick gives me like a high standard for the ballistics of scenes.
That was pretty cool though. I also like how
I don't think in the scene where Selena Kyle has the Glock, because like Micah, what kind of capacity does your Glock have? Like 12?
Capacity?
Yeah.
For bullets?
Yes.
15.
Yeah. So I don't think there were more than 15 rounds fired out of the Glock.
no.
She shot
It
like
also
5.
just depends. Like
There was 7 in one shot, and there were about 3 before it. So I would say it's about 10.
whenever Batman or Catwoman took out a guy with a gun or like disarmed them, the first thing I would just say in my head is destroy urban survival training. Which I ended up saying a lot. Because every guy he fights pretty much has a gun, except for in the beginning scene.
Machete.
I did find it kind of cool how the one guy was pointing like a rifle or something, and he's like, "Don't move or I'll shoot you." And he has the bat in his hand. He just kind of stares him down, and I think he gets shot in like.
He gets shot and then he just throws the bat and clocks him.
That's
My God, do you want to talk about the chips? The barbecue chips?
Jimmy John's barbecue chips. They're like kettle, kind of. They taste kind of like they're kettle cooked.
I think they are.
They're a little bit more crunchy than normal potato chips.
They're made with peanut oil.
Peanut oil. That's pretty
So,
cool.
like, Five Guys.
Yeah. So that probably is why they're a little bit more crunchy.
Carlos, you want to try one with jalapeno?
Yeah, I'll try one.
Let's give that bang a smell.
Wow. That smells
They're
good.
good for each flavor.
Yeah.
They
I
taste like-
don't think there's any Jimmy John's chips that are really bad.
I
We've
mean,
got, like, the barbecue ones. I think they have an original.
Uh-huh.
The jalapeno, and I want to say salt and vinegar. I think.
And also it has the best soda, Sprite.
Yeah,
They got Sprite.
So
they do have
They have
Coke products.
They have Coca-Cola products.
Yep.
not Pepsi.
Sprite. Yeah, Pepsi.
Pepsi sucks.
Is
Dr.
7-Up okay?
Dr. Pepper's okay. Like, what do you guys think about Dr. Pepper? Do you
Dr.
guys...
Pepper's a Coke product.
Oh, it is? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
We get Dr. Pepper's at a
Doesn't-
Coke machine at work all
Wait,
the time.
isn't Sprite owned by Coca-Cola?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Sprite is owned by Coca-Cola, and
You
so
seem very confused about it.
so is Barb's root beer is a Coke.
Yeah.
And then A&W is owned by Pepsi.
Yeah, they're okay.
They both have good distinct
They
flavors.
have the cream soda.
Cream soda is very
They do have A&W cream sodas. The
Third vending machine from the left.
The vending machine at work, they don't put them in there anymore. Now they put in Squirt.
So
What is that?
It's grapefruit.
It's
Sprite.
grapefruit flavored Squirt. And it's literally just Sprite.
Imagine
Like,
7-Up, but it's flavored like grapefruit. So it's
And not even
absolutely
Sprite,
great.
7-Up. There's...
Yeah, because it's Pepsi.
Because it's like Sprite and then 7-Up and there's just like Squirt. Like, why is there just...
That's the lamest thing I've ever heard.
I got one once thinking it was a Fanta. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
So, Micah, before...
And then there was the time that we got a free vitamin water. And it
So-
blew up in your toolbox.
I drank like half of it and I was like, this is trash. So I put my toolbox for the weekend and I came back on Monday and it was like, my toolbox is flooded because it like exploded or something. How does vitamin water, an uncarbonated drink, explode in my toolbox? It's so dumb.
So, Micah, this was like the first Batman movie.
The first Batman movie that I've seen in its entirety.
Yeah, pretty much. 'Cause
I saw Batman Begins.
Yeah, okay. But that, how long was that ago? Like, probably a long time? Or?
Oh, it was in like middle school.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm kind of the only one who's seen all the movies. Like, I've watched, like when I was
I've seen bits and pieces of
when
it.
I was a kid, I actually used to watch, instead of like watching SpongeBob or something that a lot of other people would watch, I would actually just watch like the animated show. Just 'cause, and like my dad was into it very heavily too, back in the day.
Yeah.
So, what was the other partial movie you seen with Batman in it? You wanna?
What gives the dinosaurs?
The
Ice Age.
Yeah, only other Batman movie I've seen is the Arnold one.
Yeah.
And I watched like a half hour of it and I was like, I can't. And
No.
then I changed
It's
it.
so bad.
It was on TV, so I
such a
just
With
changed
bat
the channel.
nipples.
Yeah. Speaking of, I actually want to talk about I want to kind of compare like that new suit that we got in that movie
Yes,
to
it
the
was-
other ones.
Like, I know in The Dark Knight Rises it was very, like...
It was pretty much all
It was
black.
very bulky.
Yeah.
His muscles were a lot more, like, defined in the suit, and it was weighed down with equipment. Like, every part of the suit had equipment in it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one seems to be a lot more narrowed down. It only seemed to be, like, the bare essentials with the plating,
Yeah.
because
But it kind
he
of,
carried it around in a duffel bag.
yeah, and it kind of makes sense because, I mean, if you make the whole suit, like, bulletproof the same way, it's just going to make him seem, like, too overpowered, even though in a way he kind of
A
was.
block of C4 blew up in his face.
And it
And
did
it was
nothing.
fine.
You know,
Like,
there were
not even some
his
fake
cowl.
stuff
His
going on.
his cowl was also bulletproof,
because he got shot in the side of the cowl multiple times.
They did take into account something that they've done in one Batman movie before. I can't remember which one, where he raises his arm up to cover his face. But in that movie, they only did it once, and then they completely ignored every other time.
I'm trying to remember when
but
that
this
happened.
movie, it was every time he was getting shot, he would raise his arm to cover his face.
That was also pretty cool.
A good bit of continuity.
When the Michael Keaton suit, I mean, it was like pretty classic.
That was Beyond, right?
It was pretty much an all black rubber suit in practicality terms with a yellow belt and a yellow logo.
I wasn't sure that the voice matched Batman because he didn't disguise it at all, really. And it was a lot quieter and higher than I would expect.
The only reason it just sounds different for me is because if you like see a video of Robert Pattinson just talking, like it sounds way different than how he usually talks. And also, I think the way he distincts his voice isn't that big of a deal because he doesn't talk publicly at all. And neither, I mean, when he's out with all the news cameras.
It's not really a balance between Batman and Bruce Wayne with this one. He's pretty much Batman, and then he's Bruce Wayne in one scene.
That's the other thing.
No, two, because he goes to see Falcone.
Yeah, like, that's the other thing I was about to say. You don't see Bruce a lot in...
Like, when you do see him, he's got emo face paint.
Yeah. Tell him what the exact thing that runs through your mind every time he takes the mask off.
Because whenever he takes his mask off, he's been like sweating a lot, and he's got black paint around his eyes that like drips down, and his hair is all messed up. It just looks like crawling in my skin. Every time he takes
his hair kind of reminded me of Bully Maguire.
It did. It did. The bangs were way too long. He was very edgy.
I thought that in the last scene when Riddler's talking with who's ever in the cell, whether it's the Joker or...
I think, yeah, it's definitely...
It's probably the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard the voice, I thought it was going to be Tobey Maguire acting it. I was like, Tobey Maguire's in this movie? Let's go! And then I was listening to it more, I'm like, actually, it sounds more like Andrew Garfield. I was like, I'll take Andrew Garfield as a villain and Batman would be cool, too. I don't think it's either of them.
You know, I kind of wanted... So, I think we can all agree it was most likely Joker. I would have liked it to be Willem Dafoe as Joker.
Willem Dafoe would make such a great Joker.
He could be a good Joker. He has the right face.
I mean, he does a great laugh. He would have to change up his laugh a little bit.
Because the Goblin is so iconic.
Exactly. Like he does.
William Dafoe is a brilliant balance between William Dafoe and William Dufresne.
William Dafoe and William Dufresne.
Have you never heard that before?
No.
How like he is great at playing those like almost split personality characters.
I mean, yeah, he literally
where
did
like
it with
he'll
No
be
Way
friendly
Home.
in one movie and the worst villain you've ever seen in another. He plays that line so well.
And in Spider-Man, he's both. In Spider-Man, he does both.
With his face, because you could see him being like he has like a nice face, but then he can change it to be like really creepy looking.
These...
Carlos, you should open your cookie so we can talk about the cookies. Because I'm eating your cookies.
Oh. There's supposed to be reason and rhyme for what we're doing.
No, I just wanted Carlos to try the cookies. Because they're really good cookies.
Eat the cookie, Carlos. One bite.
I'm out of frame now. So I needed to put my back up against something.
Well, like, I don't need another chair.
I kind of want, like, explain like why you thought it was like Two-Face at first, we would probably
because there's a shot where you can like see his face through some bars. It's pretty dim, but it almost looks like the cliche like burn mark that Two-Face has.
What I first noticed is it looked like I saw like a little more teeth on the side. It looked like I saw teeth on the side of his mouth.
It might be like a Michael Keaton Joker scenario where it's the scar. Like his face is cut.
Like you think it's actually cut?
I'm saying it could be.
I don't know
if it is.
That would be pretty edgy. All right, here I'm gonna try this cookie before.
It's so good.
Cookie review from Jimmy John's.
Chocolate chip.
Triple
chip.
Triple chip. So it has 3 different types of chips in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's got, I think, caramel
chip,
Chocolate chips and white chocolate
White
chips.
chocolate.
Yeah, I like
And
the
they're all
white chocolate.
Ghirardelli chocolate.
What's white chocolate called?
White chocolate?
Yeah.
Use another word for it.
White chocolate chips are, like, those used to be my favorite type of cookies.
They were such a good snack.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bowl of white chocolate chips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like white chocolate chips, but I couldn't eat them.
Well, it was like...
It's kind of like cookie dough.
When you're
when
baking
you can't
cookies
eat
and you
too
have
much
like the
of it.
bowl of chips and you just
Yeah, I
do a
couldn't.
couple.
They're-
Not
they're-
like, I want a snack. You go to the kitchen and you pour yourself a bowl of white chocolate chips. That's not what I'm talking about.
They're always like, because there's like chocolate, which is sweet, and then like white chocolate chips are like a little bit sweeter. I guess because it's more. I don't even know if they're made out of chocolate. I think they're made out of.
It doesn't have cocoa in it. I know that.
Yeah, it's not actually chocolate, which is why it's called something else.
It's
But I
called
just-
white chocolate.
I don't know what it's called.
The ingredient might be called something else.
Yeah.
The replacement for cocoa.
Man, I can't, dude. Mm.
I told you we needed to get the cookies when we went to Jimmy John's. The cookies are the best part.
It's like, because even though they're pre-made and pre-packaged,
They're so good.
they're like still soft. Most cookies are hard when they're
Well,
pre-packaged like that.
it's the super seal. They like seal them really quick after they come out of the oven
Yeah.
when they make them. So
Mm-hmm.
And I think they make them the day you order too. Maybe.
No,
I'm not sure.
no, because it says processed in a facility that handles tree nuts and
Oh.
peanuts. So they definitely come from a factory somewhere. I know they bake the bread. Are you thinking of the bread? They bake the bread every day.
And you know if they cut the meats?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they get like one log
It's
and
all
they cut it.
it's all fresh every day.
Going back to the Batman.
Do we
Another
wanna
scene.
talk about the
I wanted.
Batmobile.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that whole sequence because when the sequence first started, you see Batman on the rooftop above the warehouse that had like, I don't know what it had. It looked like it had a bunch of like guns and.
That was the other
bombs and
thing.
stuff.
It was world building, but it was done so gently. They were talking about the eye drop drug,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but they never like addressed it directly.
Drop
It didn't feel like the hand of the author. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. It was just a part of the world. The characters need not like it's eye drop. It does this, and
It
this
makes
to
you
you.
hallucinate.
It's super addictive. They're just like drop heads. The end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just kind of infer the rest.
But that was kind of, it was kind of at that point in the movie, me and you were like, all right, you want to bet, when do you think this
Yeah.
Batmobile
It was that
appears?
exact scene where I was thinking, like, we saw a car with a tarp covering it, like a classic muscle car style,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw bits and pieces of an engine, like we saw a crankshaft, we saw
You also saw the engine block.
the engine block,
Sitting on a
a
stand.
couple pistons, the camshaft.
Because he was rebuilding it or something.
I assume it was that he
Or maybe
tinkers
he
with
would,
it.
Or maybe he is building it in the movie, and then that's like the first time it comes out.
And you just see, like, very intentional shots
Mhm.
where, like, the character is off to the side and the main thing that you're seeing is, like, the foreground of parts
Yeah.
that frame the shot, or the car in focus in the background
Mm-hmm.
under the tarp. So I leaned over to Carlos because I wanted to just talk about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
completely coincidental that it happened in the scene where I told him how much you want to bet that for the climax of the movie, of the action, they're gonna like showcase the Batmobile because of all the stuff that we just talked about. And Carlos, you were pretty quick to agree.
Yeah, you said like 80-20, and I kind of doubled down on that and said 90-10 for
Yeah.
our bet.
It's just everything in this movie that I can think of was framed and shot very intentionally for foreshadowing and the framing of the shot and the world building. It was really well done.
It seemed like the filmmakers like actually cared about, you know, camera angles, good
I think
lighting,
the other
good
thing
color
that helped
grading.
was because we weren't retracing any steps here. We were starting. This is Batman. He's been doing this for a year. There's no like figuring out the gear or like retracing over his backstory. We know all that. We've seen all that a dozen times before.
Yep.
We can
Exactly.
skip that and go right into this is Batman. This is the world that he is in.
Mm-hmm.
These are the characters. We never like feel like we're retracing old ground. We're
'cause,
breaking new.
It's not like Batman's anything new. It's been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
So for every movie to have its own backstory for Batman, like this, his parents died. It's like
It's always the same.
The
like,
director-
the shot of no.
The director of the movie
my
was very open to say that he didn't want to like film another origin scene or another parents getting shot scene because
And
we've
it's always
seen that.
the pearls.
and they
the
they talk about in this new Batman movie. They talk about his parents dying. Like,
And the
everyone
thing
already
is,
knows.
they changed up some of the lore, but they did it in a way that wasn't like, we're gonna sit down for
I think
10
they
minutes
changed
and
up
explain it to
all
you.
that much. I think it's been done before that way too.
With the Falcone stuff?
Because the
I didn't-
Telltale games, his dad was involved with Falcone too.
Okay.
So there must be like somewhere.
The
back
only
there,
thing that
there has
sounded
to be a run
original
of
to
the
me,
comics that
like the only thing that sounded original to me was Martha, like Bruce's mom, like who.
I
like,
think that was in a run of the comics because Batman had a run of comics where everything was grimdark, like
Mhm.
super heavily.
Would you consider this movie to be grimdark? Like,
mm, like really
I would
edgy
say
and
it's-
depressing, because
No,
what's
probably
the-
not.
grimdark and misery porn are two very different things.
mhm.
Grimdark is when you show, like, yes, this world has dark corners, stuff happens in it. Misery porn is when it's, these dark corners are so intense that nothing happens except the characters feel bad.
Yeah.
I think that there was enough, like, showcasing of the other side of that coin that it counts as grimdark, but not in a bad way. I think they
It's-
handled that balance really
It's
well.
one of the movies that pulls it off. A lot of movies they try to do grimdark, and, it's
And
like,
they
terrible.
weighed really heavily on the sins of the father trope,
Mm-hmm.
because that's like the framing for the whole. Oh, that was another thing, Carlos, that we talked about. We were talking about the they were showing like who's the Riddler's final victim gonna be. And I was telling you, wouldn't it be funny if it was Bruce Wayne and he goes to get Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne's not there because he's out being Batman trying to catch the Riddler.
Mhm.
And then that absolutely happened.
Yeah.
And I think I speculated too, along with you. I said, I wonder if Riddler knows.
If he knows he's Batman.
Yeah, and he did.
No, he didn't. It was framed that way so you would think that.
And that's why.
Because
and that's why
at the
Batman,
end, when he's talking about Bruce Wayne, and he goes
He's
through
like,
all of that, and he's like,
Bruce.
he's the one target we didn't get.
And yeah,
Like,
because
it's
he.
framed and written so very intentionally to make you think that he knows.
Because at that moment in the movie, the Riddler thinks that him and Batman are a team,
Yeah,
and then that's when Batman's like, "You're crazy," and then he's like, "No."
and you can see, like, it's framed in such a way
It's
that even
good.
Bruce
even
is fooled for a minute thinking
even Batman thinks that
because
Riddler
there's
knows.
so many like is deliberate hints with like his stringboard on the back wall.
or even like
Who is the Batman?
when they go into the
I
back.
know your true self.
Yeah, that's where I thought.
That it's
But
designed
he-
very
but
intentionally
he-
to make you think that. And
He
then
explains
he says,
it. He explains it later off in the movie where he's like, "I know your true self. That's your
"This
true
is
self."
your true self.
with your
Whatever's
mask.
under the mask doesn't matter."
Because you're only your true self when you have the mask
Because
on.
they both talk. Every villain likes to do this. They like to go to the hero and say, "We're exactly the same" or whatever. If you notice,
Well, he didn't-
but in a way, it makes
didn't
sense.
quite do that though, because he was intentionally talking about how they were different. Like he thought they were a team, but they had different. Like he wasn't pulling on the "you're the same, we're the same, you and I." It was, I
have certain strengths. You have certain strengths, and
They
together.
complement each other. We make a great
The
team.
only
Yeah.
relatability factor that Riddler brings up is the masks part.
Yeah, that was the only bit, and I feel like they avoided doing that. We're the same, you and I. No, we're
Yeah.
not. Trope really well.
Mm-hmm.
Because they make you feel like they're going in one direction, and then they sideline you with
It's like
surprise. He doesn't think that at all.
'cause I feel like
And it doesn't
a
feel
lot of the movie was like, it felt like they were gonna do the same thing that they always do in movies, and then it's like, actually no, we're gonna do this, and it was like, yes, something different. So
But it
was-
also
was
didn't-
nice.
the plot twists didn't feel like they were shock bait.
It wasn't like forced.
Yeah, no.
Like there's a very distinct difference between a plot twist and shock bait.
It felt natural. when they did it.
You know what I noticed? Whenever a villain like gets locked up in the middle of the movie, that usually escape a little bit after.
He didn't though.
He was there the entire time. And in that way,
I've set things in motion that you cannot possibly comprehend.
Yeah, it just felt like even after getting locked up, he still had control over the situation. Yeah. And that's exactly what, I know you guys haven't seen this movie, that's exactly what The Dark Knight did when the Joker got locked up. The only difference is Joker actually escaped.
In the cliche way.
Yeah.
Arkham security fucking sucks. They always escape.
So then, yeah, I found that interesting, like, because I literally expected, Riddler's gonna break out, and then they're gonna have a little bit of a fist fight, but in a way, it doesn't make sense, because Batman's been trained, and
that was
he would easily beat down on Riddler.
That was another really cool scene when Batman is talking to the Riddler in Arkham, and he's and at this point, you are kind of framed, so, like, there are a couple clues that don't attach to anything. But you, for the most part, think, oh, he's busted. But wasn't that capture a little too easy? And
because he just let himself get caught.
He just went into a cafe, took his mask off, and waited.
Well, then he wanted to do that because he knew that the city was going to flood because he caused it to flood, so he let himself get caught.
But at that point,
he
you don't know
he
that
be
there's
in
a final act in play.
Yeah.
Like, we chased him down, we found the villain, we've locked him up. Now you're interrogating him because he wants to talk to you.
One of the funnier parts.
But before we move on, I want to talk about very deliberately when he's like, "I wanted us to both be here and safe," and he sees Batman's reaction like, "Oh, you don't know what I have planned. I guess you're not as smart as I thought."
And he gets really pissed off about that.
So pissed because that's when the gears like lock into place that, oh, we're not done here.
Yeah.
There's more. All in all, I think that it did a really good job of setting stuff up and making it play off in such a way where it didn't feel like it was out of left field. Like, everything had happened, you could, like, look back and, like, oh, I remember when they set this up.
It was a good story. They didn't try to force anything. And they didn't, like, throw in random things that don't really matter, like political stuff or something. I mean, you could say that Catwoman saying white privileged people could be, like, political, but even then it's, like...
That's, like, the closest thing it gets to it.
And it's not even really that political.
I feel like that's the mistake Marvel's kind of making. Because Disney is, a lot of the higher-ups probably have a certain political bias. And so in their media, they probably want to promote that. And so in recent...
We talked about the Batmobile, though. We don't went on for the
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's go to the Batmobile.
So, the Batmobile was framed in such a way where you never really see it.
You never see it.
Always,
you feel its
you see
presence,
the front,
though.
You see the headlights, and
you don't even see the front.
And you see the giant engine in the back,
you see the engine.
You see the glow of the, like, grill.
The lights.
The headlights, and the jet engine that's mounted to the back.
That's really all you never... And then
that was
you
so
see
cool,
the silhouette.
because in the scene
shadow,
before, Catwoman, she, like, wraps a guy's legs and then just pulls him.
I completely forgot about it. He's like sitting there in the rain with the umbrella, and then he goes whoop, and he's gone. And he's like, ah!
And then she, like, finds the money stash, and that's when they both get shot at. And so Batman's, like, on the ground, and you're thinking, oh no, this is not gonna end well.
They don't show him getting up either.
He's
just like, he gets floored.
That's kind of a Batman thing, though. Like, it's a very common thing for someone to be looking away, and then they look back and Batman's gone.
Yeah, but usually he's not like, oh no, Batman's on the ground. What happened to him? He's gone.
He's gone. His car's here now. Yay!
Well, I was kind of... But when you hear that car engine, I was like, oh like yeah.
The car is more identifiable by the sound
than
the actual look of it.
The jet engine.
Like, especially so in the Michael Keaton Batmans. The Tumbler. they put
yeah.
so much focus on like how cool the Batmobile was
and how destructive
and
it
how
is too.
like it was just a tank that went through and took care of everything.
But in
And
this movie,
it doesn't matter what the Batmobile is. You just need to know that it is the Batmobile and that it's coming for you.
and the thing is, it wasn't like a tank, you know. It
was just a souped
it
up
was-
car.
It was just a giant bulletproof muscle car, pretty much.
It wasn't even that bulletproof.
The windshield was a little bulletproof.
When he was like
It was bullet resistant,
on the windows, it wasn't shattered.
but it was small arms fire, so it was probably just tempered glass.
Well, that was a pretty cool scene. And then after we get that whole, like, I love the way they film and the camera work with the Batmobile. Because in the behind-the-scenes footage, you can see they actually
Did you
attach the
watch the-
camera. What?
Have you seen the behind-the-scenes footage? Because I haven't.
Yeah, they released like 5 minutes of it. But they...
Do you want to talk about the final shot in that scene, though? Your favorite shot of the whole movie?
Yeah, I was going to get to that right after that. But I like how they just filmed the Batmobile. Like, it literally... They literally place cameras on certain angles of the Batmobile. So they'll place one on the side, they'll place one that faces one of the back tires when it drifts and brakes to a stop. That was pretty cool. And then you see Penguin's car get totally totaled. That sounded really...
That's what
Get
total means.
Yep.
Get totaled. There we go. Which, by the way, he should have been either dead or
There was so much. They survived that bullshit in this movie.
I like the when the Penguin's car was flipping.
Mhm.
Did you have
relatable.
some nostalgia?
Yeah.
I like shot forward in my seat and looked over at you.
For the audience, I have rolled a car before, so
Before, it was like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
so
And
it
did
is
a
like that
ton,
where it's
yeah.
like it's weird because you can feel yourself like getting pushed up and then pushed back down from the gravity.
But he
But
was
it feels-
spinning around so fast.
I know in real
You
life, he
rolled
went
like
bad.
1.5 times.
It was like I slid sideways on the road. This is like the bank, and then it comes up. I slide. I get off the road. I smash, and then my top was like, and then I rolled, and then I kind of went to my side. So I think technically I only rolled once, but like it was kind of twice because I hit the top of the car on the ground twice.
That's fair.
There we go.
I didn't do a full roll once.
But I was gonna... Yeah, so basically, if that happened to you, you would not survive that, correct?
It depends on if the car has a roll cage.
If I was in the
With
Jeep,
the
because it has a roll cage, probably. But with whatever the crap the Penguin had, some little sedan.
well,
Yeah.
assuming that it was the Penguin's car.
It's his personal car, and he reinforced it.
Let's assume that he reinforced it with a roll cage, which the damage kind of suggests because the top never collapsed
It wasn't
in.
caved in. Yeah. It
So
was still,
I'm going to assume that there is at least a rolled bar,
at least
somewhere.
something to keep the.
something that reinforces the top.
What is his windshield? Did his windshield ever break?
Yeah, it broke.
The
Yeah.
windows broke in the final
Did
crash.
it cave where the windshield was?
No, it didn't. It was
No.
intact.
I think the shock just went through the glass and it
Yeah.
shattered.
And
But
so,
again, it's movie magic. A lot of things had plot armor in this movie.
and so
Ballistics
Normally-
didn't really make sense.
this, I don't want to like trash on Marvel, but I feel like in terms of their filming and cinematography and lighting,
Some
and
of them
stuff,
have really good shots.
but the recent ones, like Avengers Endgame, is like my perfect example because if you like squint your eyes slightly in that final battle, you just see gray, just a bunch of gray movements everywhere. It all just looks kind of bland. It looks like an ugly CGI
It's like
mess.
they tone down the saturation for it, and they're like burnt, so then everything's kind of like just a grayish color. There's not a whole lot of vibrant.
This
going on.
movie was the
I think it's
exact
so like
opposite.
it doesn't look like you poured a bunch of Skittles in a blender.
Yeah, this movie, it was a dark movie, but they still had like pretty good colors when it came to it.
When the colors
So
actually
like
pop.
shots of Gotham's version of like Times Square with all the
Oh,
billboards
that
everywhere.
was like in the opening scene too. That and
Well,
you know
we
you
come
see
back to that
Bruce
location a couple times to show like newscasts being broadcast to the public.
Yeah, and it looked good.
It
And I like how Gotham gave a gothic look.
You skipped past your favorite scene.
Okay, so my favorite shot in the entire movie. See, and this was I was about to say.
Before we get to that, can we talk about the shot beforehand where the Penguin thinks that he's got the Batman?
Oh yeah, he's like.
He causes a crash of a bunch of
There's
fuel
like an oil tanker that crashes.
And there's multiple
There's
explosions.
balls of flames.
Yeah.
And we see the Batman do some really lucky stunt work with a ramp moving in front
A
of him.
ramp
just
happened
the right
to
time.
be in
And then he
perfect.
he floors it before the ramp even like goes. Like he floors it and the ramp's like weren't. And then he can like.
Yeah. It was such like, well, that was magical that happened there.
I did like
But
how.
then we cut to a shot of the Penguin in his car.
And he's like, "Oh,
I got you, you bastard! I got you!"
And then
And then you
just
see
the
Batmobile fly through, just emerge
Through the wall of flame.
through the wall of flames, and you just see his face go.
And then he like. It's like, is the mirror deceiving me? And then he like turns
That
around.
was another thing that they did multiple times in the movie. Was rather than have a camera shot go behind them, they have the camera instead trained on the rearview
person.
mirror.
Exactly.
So you see like them looking in the
What
And
they
that's how
would
they
see.
reveal. And that's how they revealed the Batmobile going out of the
Yeah,
flames.
that's
in
why I
that.
wanted to bring that up.
And
the
then
other time you see that is the last shot of the movie.
Yeah, with Catwoman.
When Catwoman was
Catwoman.
leaving,
Yeah,
when you
he
watch-
shows
Her bike disappear into the smog of Gotham.
I thought it was, and so now after that happens, my favorite shot filmed in the movie
Yes.
happens, and that was when after Penguin's car is basically upside down, and so instead of just generically film here, place the camera right there, we'll just film him walking. What they do is they flip the camera,
So that you
Upside
get
down.
the Penguin's perspective.
you get his
the
perspective.
upside down, 'cause his
And-
car's upside down.
From the, I got the
it's
vibe.
it's inside the window too, so you get this
Mhm.
border
Mhm.
of the broken
Of the broken
glass and the
Yes.
reflection of the flames on the wet road
Mhm.
because it's like
Like the
constantly
rain-
raining in
the-
Gotham.
Yeah,
It's
the
always
rain.
cloudy. I don't know if it's ever sunny.
Well,
in
it's
Gotham.
always smoggy. in
It's
Gotham,
always
but
a-
it's always
It's just
raining,
a
too.
Gotham thing, I guess. It just
You would
always
think
rains.
that with that much rain in Gotham, it would pull
It would
some of the
pull the
smog out of
smog
the sky.
down, Because
But
rain
no.
pulls, it cleans the air.
But then at the upside down shot, you see like his cape flowing in the wind and stuff, and then it cuts to, like his boots and like his head, the way he has his heavy steps. Because the way he walks, it ain't how I walk down my school hallway. I'm not gonna walk in a semi-power stance with like a flowing cape behind me, and then adding weight to each of my steps. And then when it gets to that same camera angle, it shows him like up close to the car door, just
I thought that was-
staring him
It was
down.
kind of funny.
I thought it was
'cause
funny how he
stops
like
and he just,
lays sideways and you see the camera upside down in the car and he's just like,
Yeah, like he totally could
Hi.
like just, grabs him.
And
and
then-
I made a joke to Carlos like, "Hello, sir. Do you need any help?
Yeah.
That
Are
was
you
pretty-
okay?"
And then they interrogate him, and
I forgot.
That
the
after-
interrogations.
after
It's a
that,
good scene.
that's when we get to the
That's-
live streams
Well,
where
because when we get there, we're so sure that like they got the Spanish wrong, and they say a rat with wings, and they're like, a penguin's a bird, it's a pigeon, it's close enough, right? And so then they're interrogating the penguin about how he's the rat, and the penguin's like, "Oh, what you talking about, dude? That's the worst Spanish I ever heard."
But then we get to the scene where Batman like opens up this computer.
It
And
cuts
it
back and
shows-
forth between him like going to URL.
Yeah, and Riddler's live streaming. I
The
want to
viewer
talk
count.
about that live stream because obviously we like to make fun of the whole live streaming stereotype, like subscribe to my channel and follow me on Patreon and click that bell for notifications, smash that like button, share with your friends.
Download the video.
Yeah. Terrible.
But in this one, he like you just see the viewer count for some reason just increase.
It's
by
not the viewer
number.
count; it's the view count.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not,
yeah.
Because
not
it's
even viewers.
It's not even viewers.
It's
It's
just-
views on a live video steadily increasing into like 5,000, and then it comes back to it later, and he's like, he's got some 500 followers. It's like,
It's one that I have.
And you.
and that was the other thing. You see like riots in the streets of people like the Riddler's riot. And it's like he's got 500 people following him.
Yeah, I know. You'd think that if someone blew up like that, it'd be like,
Got some chips in the back of my mouth.
especially with how news is nowadays.
I thought he
People
had
across the
like
country,
thousands of followers.
Yeah, you would think, but no.
Yeah,
Hmm.
just 500 and like 6 or whatever it was.
So then, I actually want to talk about my favorite shot film, and it's a very short one too. But it was the scene after when because you know how Selena rips that camera off her eye
Yes.
after like being like, okay, I can't do
Oh,
this
the
anymore.
are you there?
Yeah.
Like, written on a piece of cardboard above the lens.
Hmm.
That was a
And-
neat detail.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And, you know, Selena, like, kind of asks Batman to meet up with him. And then it immediately cuts to that shot of the city. And Batman's the one kind of blurred. And it just showcases the actual, like, Gotham.
There was a lot of depth of field playing with that, like what's in focus and what's
Mhm.
out of focus.
And they'd
in the
switch it
different
mid-shot
shots.
a lot.
Yeah. But they would do it so subtly where it's not like we're going to train it on this for a long time and then slowly
Because they
filter it out
it'd
and
be
do this. And
when-
instead it's like it snaps in such a way that you don't really notice it.
It's because they timed it perfectly to where they would put a detail and then your mind would be like looking on the screen where that detail is, and then by the time you move your eyes, like while you're moving your eyes, it switches. And you're like, it's right there.
And usually there's like something to draw you to, like if you're focusing on something in the
Like
left
a-
side of
like
the
a
shot
blinking light, or
and
something.
the right side of the shot is out of frame,
Mhm.
like something will move from the left to right side as the camera focus like shifts
Mhm.
between the depth of field, so it like draws your eyes to whatever's
It
in
was-
focus.
It was,
The cinematography was really good
it,
in
was
this movie.
it was a beautiful movie. Like
Mhm.
they did really well
I
making
was
it into a movie.
I will admit, when I agreed to go watch this Batman movie, I had very low hope
Yeah.
because of like the string of DC comic movies being not.
DC is very inconsistent when it comes, because if you think about it, they start off really good with their very first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve and Michael Keaton Batman, and then as those movies got sequels, they dipped in quality and.
I thought
Like-
people liked The Dark Knight.
No, I'm talking about like the sequel to like The Dark Knight was Christian Bale.
Oh,
Michael Keaton was the one with the Batman '89 and stuff, and so then the movie that killed the franchise was the one with Arnold in it, with Mr. Freeze,
So bad.
and then it got rebooted into Batman Begins in those movies, and those movies were very good. And then they decided to reboot again a new DC universe directed by Zack Snyder.
It was so bad.
And then
That was like the only like current DC movie I have seen was Wonder Woman 84,
yeah.
which was
When I see Superman snap
Not
someone's
great.
neck, that's not a very something I want to see.
yes, peace, justice, and the American way. Snap.
I just call
That's
them
what Superman is supposed to represent: is peace, justice, and the American
truth,
way.
justice, and
Truth,
the
justice.
American way.
Sorry,
Yeah.
and, like those are his three core things.
Yeah.
It's
But
in
then he
every
snaps
Superman.
the guy's neck.
He's
in
like,
one of his-
yes, truth, justice, and the American way.
Like,
snap.
So like here's the thing, I wanted to give more context to the scene. So he has another Kryptonian in a chokehold, and because it's a Kryptonian, they can shoot lasers. And there's this family right there, and so he starts shooting lasers at the wall, and the lasers is closing in, and instead of just flying
Or
upwards,
just like moving him to the left. Or
Yeah.
something.
what he instead does is just snap his neck.
Instant gratification. 100% success rate.
DC's just like, they're hit or miss sometimes.
But
The first Wonder Woman movie was okay.
that was really good, actually. The second one was not.
The second one wasn't great. Chris Pine was still funny, though. Chris Pine's really funny.
Yeah, he does a great job with everything he's in. And Pedro Pascal as well.
Let's see, what? We're getting off track. Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
I was going to start talking about Chris Pine movies. I was like, no, we can't do that. We need to talk about Batman and why we're here. What? Do we have anything else we really want to talk about?
I guess
We
I got
talked
a few
about
things
the-
we can bring up.
Well, I mean, we're probably at, like, close to 2 hours here with the drive. Maybe an hour and a half.
Maybe we should wrap it up then.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah.
do we have anything we need to talk about
If you would rank it, I guess.
in terms of, like,
No,
just rate the
just
movie,
like
like,
a number rate.
like 1 out of 10?
Yeah, sure.
I guess if I'm rating it on a cinematography standpoint,
I'm like,
probably an 8.5.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a lot of plot armor, and
Yeah.
they survived this, and, like, shoehorning the plot along.
Mm-hmm.
So the plot felt kind of weak, but the twists were good.
Mm-hmm.
The shots were really well done. So I would say maybe 7.5 to 8.5, somewhere in there,
Well,
depending on what the criteria is.
well, for me, Batman's always been like one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
of all
Batman
times.
is your...
He's my favorite DC hero. My favorite Marvel hero is Spider-Man. But when it comes to Batman, it was just the one character from DC, him and Superman, that just always stuck with me all the time. And that's why I kind of feel bad for Superman, because we haven't had a good Superman movie in a very long time. But for this movie specifically...
It's hard to do stuff with Superman.
I think you'd be surprised. But, I think as a whole, I would give the movie a 9.5. Because my only big issue with it is the plot armor stuff. Like, this person should have died from this, or this person
There's a
definitely
lot of
should not.
suspension of disbelief.
But this was like the first Batman movie where you kind of explore the psychology of the character, and it showcases how like mentally unstable he is at certain points in the movie, how he chooses.
The live action movies, anyway. I know
Yeah.
they touch up on that a lot. The animated ones.
Yeah, the animated ones showcase it multiple times, but this is the first live action one where you actually see him lose control multiple times, like with the Riddler interrogation scene when he's like punching the glass multiple times, or instead of tactically and stealthily taking down the guys with the guns one by one, he just goes right through them.
That was another detail that I want to add real quick. So many superhero movies, it's like they're up against a group of guys, and they're like, let's all attack them one at a time! But in this case, it was very apparent that he could be outnumbered in certain fights. He would get the crap kicked out of him because they would rush him, and he would have to slowly work them out one at a time as they all came out in the group. So, 9.5 from Carlos. Micah?
I'd say a movie in general, I give it an 8.5. I'd say compared to other Batman movies.
Oh, other Batman movies.
It's like 10 out of 10 compared to other Batman movies.
Yeah,
Because the other ones
that's
are
kind of
the other ones are just kind of like.
well. I mean,
Some of them are really good.
Just let
Some
him
of-
get his thoughts out.
Some Batman movies are like, yeah, that was good, but there's other ones that are like, and then there's just like a lot of kind of like, that was okay, I guess, Batman movies.
So, 8.5 your final answer?
8.5.
nice.
So that averages out to about a
8-ish.
8.5.
8.25. 18 out of 10.
18 out of 10. Best movie of all time. No. So,
I guess that's it.
Yeah.